Alrighty. We should be good.
Wouldn't it show up here though if
I think you might need to refresh, but it should be all right.
I've refreshed several times?
Oh no.
Oh,
Is it there?
it's there.
Yippee!
Yeah,
Hooray!
I'm watching now.
Fantastic.
Hey, Baby Gast is here. Tetradrachm. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I know that guy. Lots of people saying hello.
Hello there.
Okay. Hey, can you guys hear us?
We have we spent the last hour, almost 2 hours, trying to set this all up very rapidly. But I think it's working.
Can somebody in chat say, yes, we can hear you? Eret looks so slay. Okay, oh yeah, there's someone saying, I can hear you. All righty.
Fantastic. Amazing.
Okay, and then I didn't put this on the right screen, so.
It's on the little tiny screen. Amazing.
There we go.
So cool. Awesome.
Why is it doing that though? Full screen.
Let me...
And then there's a way to make the chat full screen, right?
Is it a little out of focus? Let me see if I can fix the focus.
Okay. You know, it's maybe focusing on the
Minecraft.
on the big screen.
Yes. It was all working before.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully when I'm there, it'll start working fantastically.
Do you know how to make the chat full screen?
I do not know.
Okay.
I think maybe you could like slide it so it's larger.
There's nothing to, oh, there's a.
Oh, no.
No.
I think that might just be, ooh. This table's completely fine.
Okay.
I hope you guys' day is going absolutely fantastic. We
just got here.
We just got here. We've set things up a little last minute, but it is working. We're both working on different space projects. Space is really cool. That's what we're going to be talking about today as things are getting set up. Oh, my boy! There he is.
As always.
The boy.
All right.
Fantastic.
Oh, and we got it there. We got it there and there.
Yes,
that's pretty good.
That's the one on the OBS. Oh, we've suddenly gone out of focus.
You are.
Hello, camera. Absolute cinema. Come on. Is it? Okay, that's a bit behind.
Right.
That's the one that's live.
Are you in focus over there?
I don't know. I could try bringing it closer. Why is it so out of focus? It was just in focus.
All right. Okay, here's my idea.
Yes.
Well, do you have controls? Do you have controls can you manually set the focus? This is the kind of quality output that you guys come to appreciate from professional streamers, like the other guy.
Professional. Oh goodness, why is it so bad? Blame the dog.
It is definitely the dog's fault.
FOV, ISO, I don't know how you... Goodness, how...
You got no focus controls over there.
If I was on my setup, I would have focus controls, but I don't.
Okay, here's my idea. Let's turn off the Minecraft in the background. Well, let's let everybody enjoy. First of all,
oh, it came into focus. It came into focus. Now it can see some stuff.
But it just. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Here we are.
Let's see how long it lasts. So I'm just going to keep my arm moving at all times to make sure that it knows I'm what's really important.
Yes. Perfect. Okay, so hopefully it doesn't drop out of focus again. It might.
It should know to focus on the dog, right? That's what's
The,
really
the most important person here.
most important person. I think the thing. No, I didn't. You go.
All right, so me and Technodad have been friends for a while because, well, largely because we both really love space stuff, aside from having similar backgrounds. Yes.
I actually, I don't think that's how it started. I think it started because you were connected with my son.
Of course.
But that's certainly how it's been going for the last couple of years. Our
Yes.
conversations have all been about asteroids and space stuff. Very exciting.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about space today, and I have nothing prepared. Like I have nothing prepared.
Well, yes,
So-
you forgot. Okay. So you've been working on some awesome projects that I've been able to get little sneak peeks into, and I've been working on my own projects as well. For people who might not be familiar with me, I used to be on the Dream SMP. But I initially, I initially got into university before I was streaming to study. Let's send him over. To study astronomy. So I want to do more space stuff and bring it live to the world. And Mr. Technodad has been doing a whole bunch of research to make space education very interesting and entertaining in ways that I think are really cool. Because a lot of the time space stuff can just be a lot of numbers and a little overwhelming. So I think it's really cool what you've been doing. Let me change this thing over here.
Yeah, so one of the things that's been driving me is as I go to learn about these things, I see some description of some big complicated relationship between this asteroid and this other asteroid and this planet and so forth. And I think, what the heck does that look like? It's one thing to read a paragraph about it, but it's like a completely different thing to see it, to see the visual relationships and so forth and so on. And to that end, I started doing I'm a programmer, I can write a little program to show this and show that. And it's kind of ballooned to where now I have a bunch of different visualization programs that display a bunch of different things that let you see stuff. And it's particularly important because, as I'm sure you're aware, with space, scale is a real problem. Because you can scale down the distances between things, but then the size of everything drops down to 0.
Yes.
Or you can show the sizes, but then the distances become, 1,000 miles.
Okay, focus is now back.
Focus is back. Just expect focus to be terrible the whole time.
Yes. Is the big number or the small number the brightness of the lights?
The big number is the color temperature, the small number is
Fantastic. I'm going to reduce it just a smidge, I think.
Okay. This is the one on the right here is the really bright one, though,
Okay.
I think.
We got Minecraft at nighttime behind us. Lovely. And I'll try not to walk close to the camera because I think, oh my goodness, what happened to it again?
Well, that's the late version,
Okay.
right?
There we go. Oh, the screen turned off. Why did it do that? Oh, it's back. Okay. Camera, I believe in you.
Oh!
I believe. Please. Oh my goodness.
Well,
There we go.
I
It's
got a
back.
couple of thoughts. I mean, one thought is we could just back the chairs up so we're right next to the screen, so we can only get so far out of focus.
That is true.
That's one option. Another option is we could turn the screen off.
Oh, but the screen's so cool though.
The screen is so cool. Everybody, the screen is so cool, isn't it? And Can he read chat? Yes,
Yes.
but I have to, there's the camera, there's the chat over there. Eret has powers. It's true.
I have the power to take away the camera focus. This is really frustrating because there is a way to manually focus stuff, but the software that I currently
Well, I'll tell you
have-
what, I will fill the time by talking about random nonsense while you work on the focus.
I think I might have found a button. There we go. All right, it's no longer going to be changing.
It says, been a hot minute since I've seen Eret.
There
Do
we
you
go.
acknowledge my existence? Yes, I do.
Fantastic. All right, focus should be locked.
What is your favorite planet? There's a question I get.
That's a good question. That's
What
a
is your
fantastic
favorite
question.
planet? Obviously, Earth.
That's
Earth is
a
my
pretty-
favorite
That's
planet.
a pretty good one.
It's my favorite planet. It's the only planet that has Stacy on it.
Oh,
It's the only planet that has Apollo. Apollo is here with us in the studio, but he will not be appearing on the
Yes.
screen.
all your
You guys-
family and friends.
You guys know he exists. He's been helping us set up.
Thank you.
Yeah, Earth is great. What is your favorite constellation?
My favorite planet's Jupiter. I love Jupiter. It's
Jupiter is so
big.
awesome.
Technodad has a simulation which you will be seeing later as to why I think Jupiter is so cool. So I'm going to tell you now, the fact that Jupiter exists is the reason we exist, because it is so big that it sucked up the majority of any asteroids and comets, except one that have come our way. And protected us and made sure that we don't get wiped out, except for that one time. It is like a giant shepherd that carries around all these asteroids and rocks all around the solar system, just beyond the orbit of Mars. And when you see Mr. Technodad's simulation, you are going to see just how many objects are out there that if Jupiter wasn't there, might have just come and crashed into us and
Yes.
eliminated our chance to even exist at all in the first place.
Well, in fact, there was a period of time, the so-called late heavy bombardment,
Yes.
where we were getting pretty badly pummeled. But that has, fortunately, the last 4 billion years or so have
Was
been.
that just like sucking up all the bits inside of Jupiter?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. And then once those sorted out, Jupiter's
You know, I
like a big
haven't.
Roomba going around.
A big Roomba. Yes, that's a great metaphor. I may steal that.
Yes, please.
So when you look at the solar system now, you have the main belt, the asteroid belt,
Yeah.
between Mars and Jupiter's orbit, and almost all of the asteroids that we know about are there. The round numbers, we know of something like 1.6 million asteroids, and something like 1.5 million asteroids are in the asteroid belt.
Jeez. And that has a whole bunch of like mini like Ceres is there. I think Psyche is there.
Ceres, Pallas, Vesta, Juno, Hygeia, a bunch of them.
Yes.
But Ceres is the
big one.
the clear winner, the clear big dog.
It's like a dwarf planet right between like Mars and Jupiter.
Yeah.
How big is it compared to Pluto? That isn't a planet.
I have a visualization for that.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, I took Ceres out of it though. You know, it's one of my visualizations. No, I do have it here, but I don't have Ceres in it. I did a visualization of a bunch of the dwarf planet
Yeah.
sizes, and it was originally Pluto, Ceres, Haumea, Makemake, Quoar, something, and then Eris.
Yes.
And they're all comparable in size. Pluto has the biggest diameter, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have the biggest mass. It's
Really?
It's not the most massive
Okay, so
asteroid.
it's bigger, but it has a smaller mass than something that's
It's low
smaller than
density,
it.
yeah. It's
Ah.
low density.
Personally, Pluto is my favorite object in our solar system.
Oh, well, that's great. We are, however, planning on dissing Pluto as far as its ambitions to being a planet, because
I'm sorry, it's not even cleared its own orbit.
that's right. That's right.
Didn't even go around the sun once between the time it was discovered and the time it was declassified.
Yeah. So Ceres is, distinctly. It's like a little bit smaller than
Yeah.
the other guys. It's definitely on the small side, but at the same time, it qualifies as a dwarf planet. So
Yes.
it's in the top tier of the bottom tier,
Yeah.
like Pluto and Eris and so forth.
That's a good question. What got you into space? I'm not there yet.
I was born in space.
Theoretically, we all were.
It was a crazy thought. I think one of the Artemis II astronauts made that point. I think she was the one who was saying that. She was saying something like, "Here I am in a spaceship floating through space, and it's awesome. And there you people on Earth are, and you also are in a spaceship floating through space." I think it was a pretty good point to remember.
Yeah, the Earth is so small compared to the universe as a whole, but we're all here existing in the same space, and we get to observe what's around us and see what's out there and see what's awesome and where different galaxies and stars and nebula and everything have all come from, all the way down to the smallest things like the asteroids, the moons, and planets like Earth. And we're learning all the stuff. We're learning more every day. We're sending, I say we, I'm not directly doing it, but humanity is sending spacecraft up there. Next month, they're launching a brand new telescope called the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, which is like a much better version of Hubble. And I learned this fact the other day where if you're picturing Andromeda, which is the closest galaxy to us, and you use the Hubble telescope, it would take like 438 something exposures in order to try to capture at least most of Andromeda. And it would take the Nancy Grace Roman, which is Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, which is launching next month, 2 exposures. So significantly better, and hopefully will be a whole new world of exciting space discoveries.
I recently was reading just a little bit about Hubble versus the James Webb Space Telescope, and Hubble is just in orbit. It's not even very far up in orbit. It's just in orbit around the Earth. It's in our atmosphere,
Yeah.
at least a little bit. It's not all that far away. Whereas the James Webb Space Telescope is way out in space. It's at our L2. It's at our L2 Lagrange
Yes.
point. It's way out there. So that's pretty impressive. But as far as telescopes go, we were talking about, somebody was saying something about the rapid number of new discoveries. The rate at which we discover new asteroids is kind of insane. We discovered 11,000 new asteroids in 2025.
That's like a lot every day.
30. It's 30 a day.
Jeez.
So
They're busy.
30 times a day, somebody goes, "I got another one." There it is. And
Is that with a specific spacecraft, or is it just...
that's the global output of Earth's astronomers.
Wow. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a crazy number. There's a the IAU, the International Astronomers Union, has a group, an effort known as the Minor Planet Center And the Minor Planet Center publishes a database of all the known asteroids.
Yeah.
And it's a simple fixed field width text file. And you could just download it. You just like go to their website, download it. Now you have the knowledge of every asteroid known to man. And they updated like, I'm not sure the exact rate, but it's something like every couple of days. So that's what my simulator runs on. It runs on some...
absorb all this data, put it into this program, and it all works. I mean, it's so cool that you made this, and it's not like, I mean, you used all the data, you used all the stuff, and that it's not something that's just like a big, I downloaded this program and it works. You made it.
I made it. I did, so in case you haven't heard, I've mentioned this on Reddit a couple of times, I've talked about it, but I'm working on what is currently a 5-part series, but don't hold me to that. It used to be a 6-part series, and before that it was a 1-part mega video, so it keeps getting restructured. But right now it's a 5-part series on the solar system, and you know, my basic concept was just everything I found interesting about the solar system, and I just kept throwing stuff in there and throwing stuff in there, and so forth and so on. And as I was doing it, I mentioned earlier, we were talking about like the visualizations, like, well, wait a minute, how does that work? How does this sit in relationship? You know, I want to see it. I'm a very visual person. I'm pointing to my eyes. That itself is a visual reference. I'm a very visual person, and I wanted to see what things looked like. And so you go to this site and you go to this program and so forth. And there's a lot of really interesting stuff that people had done, but it was always, I kept running into this like, I want to see it like this though. I want to see this plotted against that, and I want to see, and so finally I just said, well, to heck with it. I'm a programmer. I'm not an astronomer in any way, but I'm a programmer. I can make software. So I've made a bunch of different visualizations, and we have 2 of them here today.
Yes. And we've got a huge screen behind us that is far bigger than your phone, so we'll be able to show it off fantastically.
Yeah.
I saw someone in chat mention that on the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope and the launch I went to, which was the Europa Clipper launch, they allowed people to submit names to be put on a little microchip, which would then be like etched with all the names, and that chip would be put on the spacecraft, and that spacecraft would go to space and theoretically be in space for the course of the mission or forever. And some people were saying that they put Technoblade's name on that chip. Yes. So theoretically it's going to be up in space for as long as that mission is ongoing, or maybe forever, I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. So cool.
Someone in chat asked me to talk about Haumea, and Haumea is pretty amazing. I don't know that we discovered it all that long ago, like 20 years.
I don't remember. I don't know it.
It's a funny thing because it's like, you know, Pluto. So Pluto, as bodies, as you know, space bodies go, Pluto is kind of a pick-me, right? It's big. It doesn't necessarily have a lot of mass, but it's big. It's very shiny. It's got a lot of water content. Very shiny. So and I think we kind of accidentally, if you will, discovered it very early. We discovered Pluto in 1930, and I don't think we discovered another thing past Neptune until, very roughly speaking, like 1996. So there was a long period where we were just like, yeah, past Neptune, really not much out there. So now, in the last 25 years or so, we've discovered something on the order of 7,000 asteroids past Neptune, trans-Neptunian objects, they call them, TNOs.
Yes.
Astronomy terminology is whack. But that's why we've been, that has a lot to do with why we've had so much question about like, what is the definition of a planet? But yeah, bunch of really big things out there. So Haumea, I started out talking about Haumea and then immediately went in a completely different direction. Haumea. Haumea is a dwarf planet. So to qualify as a dwarf planet, you have to do two things. The first one, pretty easy, orbit the sun. Most things that aren't moons do that.
Yes.
So orbit the sun, and two, be in a state of what is called hydrostatic equilibrium. The way that works is, you've got an asteroid, and I'm just going to use asteroid as a very general term. Everything is an asteroid as far as I'm concerned. You've got an asteroid, and it's a big rock, and as you know, just like when you find a rock in nature, it's shaped like whatever. It's kind of got a elbow to it.
Vaguely lumpy.
It's a rock. It's a lumpy, a lumpy piece of minerals. Okay, so, and those, whatever it's made out of, has a certain structural strength to it, not things like Jupiter and Saturn that are basically just balls of gas. But if it's made of minerals, it's got some strength to it. Now, no matter what size it is, if it's an inch across, it's got gravity. Not much, but it's got gravity. If it's 1,000 kilometers across, it's got gravity. The more massive it is, the more gravity it has. What's that? Oh, it's
Started raining in Minecraft.
It's raining.
Let me go turn off the rain.
So the force of that gravity will want to crush everything in that body inward. But the material that it's made of has a certain outward pressure. When the gravity is enough, it will be crushed into a sphere until such time as it's in equilibrium between the inward pressure of the gravity and the outward pressure of the material. And when it does that, it ends up in a sphere, or something very close to a sphere. So that, being in that state is called hydrostatic equilibrium, because, astronomy terminology. We get rid of the rain?
Yes, the weather is now perfect again. I wish it was that easy in real life.
Well, we're in California, so it's almost that easy.
I tried to go streaming in the desert the other day, and it started raining of like the 5 or 7 days of the year that it rains in Southern California. Not ideal.
So a planet like Earth is almost exactly a sphere, but it's a little bit squished at the poles because, it's spinning, right? That causes it to bulge outward just a little bit at the equator, not very much. That shape is called an oblate spheroid.
Yes, it's one of my favorite phrases.
Most of the planets and dwarf planets are in the shape of an oblate spheroid, but some of them are not. Mercury is not. And
is it more spherical?
Mercury is, everything above a certain size is pretty close to a sphere.
Yeah.
But some of them, it's the difference between, is it squished at the poles a little bit, or is there something else going on? Haumea is the one where it's really obviously not a sphere. And it's not an oblate spheroid either. It's what's called a triaxial ellipsoid, which means if you look at its X, Y, and Z axes, they are all different lengths. There's
just a lumpy, vaguely spherical thing.
It's sort of like a football, except a football is round this way, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you flattened a football out a little bit. That's the shape of Haumea. And Haumea is actually twice as long on its long axis as it is on its short axis.
So it's like one of those spinning, there was like those Nerf discs things. You could squish them to a disc and then they turn into a ball, but it's like halfway between.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Now, it's still considered to be in hydrostatic equilibrium. How can that be? because it's spinning like I can't say curse words. It's spinning like a son of a gun.
Very fast.
Very fast. Less than 4 hours to fully rotate. So its spin has pulled it out, and pulled it out like this. But that still counts as equilibrium. The forces acting on Haumea, its own gravity, the outward push of its spin, and the resistance of its structure, they're all in equilibrium, and you get this weird shape. That's Haumea, dwarf planet.
Very cool. Super cool. Yes. So I want to show the stuff that you've been working on. I also want to talk a little bit about what I'm doing before we get into showing all the really cool stuff.
Let's do that.
Because we can more easily show what Technodad's been working on in the studio. What I've been trying to do is I have been, again, I originally studied astronomy at university, and then I changed a couple of times, and then I started doing Minecraft, and it's been an interesting journey since then.
I could see how you would just slip right in. They just, the two, yeah.
International relations and Minecraft, fantastic together. But what I'm starting to do is I have worked to get my whole setup really small and tiny. So I use satellite internet, and that allows me to stream from theoretically anywhere on Earth. And I want to take my friends and other cool people, some astro professionals. I've been meeting people from NASA. We go out into the desert or up into the mountains or other remote places, and we go stargazing. My telescope, which I actually have over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Not necessarily now, but let's definitely show them your telescope.
Yes. Telescope's over there, and I have my whole setup, and I can stream from anywhere. And so you'll be able to see the live feed through my telescope on the stream as we see the galaxies and nebula and other crazy awesome things through the telescope live, and we all get to go, wow, that's cool. But I'm more focused on like the grand scheme of the universe. You've definitely been more focused on like the solar system, all our local neighborhood, the stuff that actually has more of an impact on Earth. The more broader stuff is fascinating and huge in scale, but it can definitely be hard to relate to. But on a good day, you should be able to look up, see Jupiter and Saturn and some of the other things.
I don't know if you're public about this, but the thing you've said to me on a few times about authenticity.
Yes.
I think that's really. I think if you're okay with it, I think you should tell them that.
Course.
I think that's really good.
Like with live media. So I'm very passionate about live streaming. I think when you're doing something live and you can interact with the chat live, it allows you to interact with us here in the moment as it happens. And that's something you can't do with pre-recorded content. Things that are pre-recorded, especially in the years to come, as AI continues to get better and better, you will see that people start to lose trust in the incredible things that they see. You'll see an awesome, incredible video of something in space, and people just go, that's AI, that's not real, I don't believe that. But if you're able to show them that stuff live and have creators and friends and astro professionals all talk about this stuff live and in the moment, that's authentic, that's real, that's something you can directly interact with, and is impossible to go, that's fake, that's not real, because we're looking at it in the moment. And I also want you guys, or anyone who comes to those broadcasts, to be able to talk to these people who work at NASA or JPL or other crazy sounding organizations, and give like answers to some really niche questions that if you put into some like YouTube comment or a Reddit AMA may never get answered. But if you're asking live, and I think that's a really good question, what do you think of something I've never even thought about, like how mayor? I'd never heard of that, and that's something that shows up in the chat, and you know about it. So live streams are really, really special, and authenticity and building a sense of authenticity and building that like bank of this is someone and a base I can trust. So I'm trying to get really, really good at it. Because I'm not doing streams in a studio as often anymore, or in my office or anywhere. So I'm trying to get really good at doing it fully off-grid. That's my project.
I'm glad you told everybody that.
Yes.
I think that is a really compelling story. That's not, which is not to say that's a direction that I'm going to go, because I like to, the farthest I tend to go on a given day is downstairs.
Yes.
I'll go downstairs, and then if I have to do something, I'll come to the studio. But you know, if a person were, I don't know, young, then I think that's the story you're describing makes for a very, very compelling.
Yeah, I've been kind of solo tripping around the country, and I've been to Europe, and so I don't have any ties anywhere at the moment, so I can do as much exploration as friends who will have me crash on their couch. So I'm just trying to go places and show people cool things, because I think the more people who get to experience space and get to see that we are a part of something as big as the universe and appreciate how big it is, it feels very humbling and very, very special.
Yeah, you kind of reminded me. So I got a telescope, I think it's like end of December, beginning of January.
Yeah.
And I went to a lot of lengths to make sure that I had something that was as automatic as possible, that I didn't have to like manually align with 3 different stars and do trigonometry or anything. I wanted it to be as fully automatic and hands-off as I could get. And I really pushed that, and I ended up with something, and it turns out that you can only go so far. There's a lot of stuff you got to figure out. I don't think I'm expressing that well. But after the third time, or the third night or so after I got the telescope, went outside, finally had everything working, and I said, "Show me Jupiter."
Yeah.
And Jupiter was high in the sky.
Perfect.
And I wasn't even using the camera yet. I looked through the eyepiece, and there was Jupiter. And 3 of the Galilean moons were visible, and it was just heart-stopping.
Yeah, those are Jupiter's biggest moons.
Yes.
Yes.
The big 4.
The big 4. If you look through a telescope at Jupiter, you usually see 4 little dots around it in various different ways. And each of them are different makeups and very cool. Some of them are even bigger than our moon, which blew my mind. What was it? I don't know if it's a moon of Saturn or a moon of Jupiter that's like getting close to the size of Venus or Mercury. I need to do my research on that one. But some of them are huge.
Actually, it might be bigger than Mercury. Ganymede?
Yes.
Ganymede may be bigger than Mercury, and it's certainly bigger than our moon.
Big boy.
Big boy. It's a big boy.
But yes.
If you read your 50s and 60s sci-fi, there's a lot of people farming potatoes on Ganymede.
Awesome. Do we want to show off your simulations?
Sure.
Or?
Which one you do? You start with the sizes, the thing that shows the different sizes.
I think that's a good place to start.
All right. I'm gonna hand operation of this device to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
One of the things that is always hardest to get across when you are talking about space is the pure scale of things that are it's a little overexposed, or I'm not sure how we get that better. Maybe I move
Can you got the camera
Yeah.
controls?
Let me deposit. Oh, you can. Do you want them
Yeah,
back?
I'll take the device back.
There we go.
It's a very simple device. It just. Oh yeah. Can you zoom out or?
Yes. Oops. There we go. Working with one monitor. And then oops, wrong way. Exposure.
Yeah, somebody in chat saying Ganymede is in fact noticeably bigger than Mercury.
There we go. You can see stuff there.
Yep.
Not. Ah!
Careful with that shit.
Yes.
Stuff. Careful with
Stuff.
that stuff.
Jupiter is big. There's a whole bunch more.
So that red spot on Jupiter is larger than the Earth.
Almost 2 times larger than the Earth.
Yeah. It's been shrinking in recent decades.
Yes.
It's a storm, right? I mean, it's like it's
Jupiter weather forecast.
it's something like a hurricane.
And these are all to scale, right?
These are to scale, not in terms of the distance between them, obviously, but in terms of their size. These are actual size. This is one of the earlier visualizations I did in terms of just being able to see what the size of the different objects are, and you
have
can.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and then I think it goes Uranus, Neptune.
Yes.
Notice no Pluto. That's the mouse cursor.
And
Can we get the zoom out so we can see how small they are? Oh yeah, there they are. That's the sun. That's how big they are all compared to the sun.
That's the size of the planets next to the sun. Really, only Jupiter and Saturn even register. If you look at Mercury, there's Mercury next to the sun. Can you even see it? Barely. And there's Mercury, Venus, and Earth next to the sun.
Big.
It's so big.
We all live right here.
There we go.
Right, that one. That's Venus, and that's Mercury. Mercury is a little small fella. I should move the chairs.
Mercury is the dinkiest of the planets, and Earth is the most highly populated of the planets. Also, another interesting thing about Earth that I like to tell people is that out of all of the planets and all of the moons in the solar system, the Earth is the one that is closest to us.
The Earth is closest to us?
Yeah.
That
Right
makes
now,
sense.
you are much closer to the Earth than you are to Venus or Jupiter or any of the other planets.
I would not have guessed. That is incredible.
So there they all are with, getting to see what the sun looks like when you max out the size of the planets. And then here's what they look like when you show the full size of the sun next to the planets. I can't see what's on the screen now. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. That's pretty good looking. It's sort of weirdly blue.
Why are you blue?
Why is it so blue-green? It's pushing a little bit in the blue-green direction.
Let's see if I can change the exposure a little bit.
He's wagging his tail. He's wondering why I'm not petting him. Oh, aren't you a good boy? All these people listening to me
There we are.
make goo-goo noises at the dog.
the sun, and then all the planets, and we live on that one, that little dot right there. I think you can fit almost 2 million Earths inside the sun. It's a lot. It's a very big thing, and Jupiter doesn't even come close.
Yeah.
And you made this full thing.
Yeah, so this is just a simple Java program. This one's actually pretty simple. The other one is a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
With math and everything. This is just a simple Java program. I spent a while trolling NASA's image library to get some really good high resolution pictures of the sun and the planets. And it's hot, isn't it? The whole thing is kind of hot.
I was giving Saturn some pets.
Yes, it's a good boy. And then just a little bit of math to scale them appropriately and to animate them so you can zoom in and zoom out and so forth. I have another one like this. So there's a relationship. There's an interesting relationship between Neptune and all of the asteroids out in the Kuiper Belt, which is almost all of the dwarf planets and all of the big boys. He doesn't want to come over.
Doesn't want to come over there.
He doesn't want to come over. Why don't you want to come over? He's very suspicious. He's very suspicious of different things to step on. Let me see if I can pull up the other one.
Please.
And we can get a nice look at Haumea.
Floof. He's going to the sun.
Yeah. All right. Where's my mouse? Oh, yeah.
Whoa, yes.
Oh, I wasn't going to show that yet.
Close your eyes. Pay attention to Floof. Behold, the creature. Don't sacrifice Floof to the sun. Oh, whoa, what's this?
Okay, so there's your basic Neptune, right?
Yes.
It's only like the fourth biggest planet, but it's huge. It's actually quite huge. And then, what's that?
It's so blue the camera is not doing it justice. Why are you blue? Oh, whoa. Oh, that's how that is. You were not kidding when you said it was shaped kind of like a football.
It's crazy what how Haumea is shaped.
How Haumea?
So there's Jupiter, Neptune rather.
That guy.
Neptune is, I mean, for one thing, you can see how big Neptune is compared to Pluto. Pluto is a dinky little thing.
Yeah, there's Pluto up there.
Yeah.
And that's Neptune, that's the 8th planet, right?
Yes.
No. Yes.
So
I get my orders messed up.
in a very real sense, Neptune is the frontier that it represents the outer boundary of where we have planets and so forth. But there is a lot of stuff past Neptune.
Yes.
And a lot of these guys are, I think a little over half of these are dwarf planets. Pluto, Makemake, Haumea.
So Eris is a dwarf planet as well?
Eris is a dwarf planet, yeah.
Yeah.
So Eris is actually, as these things were being discovered, this was what sort of caused some grumbling about, well, do we really want to call Pluto a planet?
Yeah.
Or is it really maybe something else? And the discovery of Eris, kind of at the end of that process,
Yeah.
which is more massive than Pluto,
So Eris is more mass than Pluto,
Yeah.
even though it's slightly smaller.
It's a tiny bit smaller, but it's significantly more dense.
Yeah.
So it's like a quarter again as massive.
I like Gong Gong.
Yes. They're naming stuff after. It's not just Greek and Roman names anymore. It's whatever.
Fantastic.
Make and Haumea are, I want to say, Hawaiian deities. But yeah, Eris was kind of the nail in the coffin on the idea of Pluto as a planet.
Yeah, that makes sense. One of my favorite facts about Pluto is that it and its moon, I forget the name of its moon. Charon. They orbit a spot outside of Pluto because its moon and they orbit a place in space because it's not massive enough to have the moon orbit it entirely. Not a planet, I'm afraid. It's too small.
So just to expand on what you just said a little bit, possibly in focus, I don't know, maybe. Can I get in here?
Yes.
There I am. Just to expand on what you said a little bit, normally, for most things where you've got a big boy in the middle and things orbiting around it, the size ratio is so big that the center of gravity between the two is inside the volume of the big one. If you take the center of the sun and the system that includes the Earth and the sun, the center of mass between the two of them is just a tiny little bit moved away from the center of mass of the sun, well within inside the sun's volume. With Pluto and Charon, that point is in the space in between the two planets. It's actually really a binary.
Yes. That's when two things orbit each other rather than one just orbiting the other.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And Charon is, as moons go, gigantic compared to the thing it's orbiting.
Yes.
And interestingly, Orcus over here actually has the same relationship with its moon.
These are some great names. What is Orcus? Oh wait, Orcus is a moon as well?
No, but Orcus has a moon called Vanth, and the relationship between Orcus and Vanth looks very much like the relationship between Pluto and Charon. And in fact, so you know how like our moon always shows one face to us as it orbits around us?
It's called tidally locked.
Yes, tidally locked.
I know things.
Pluto and Charon are tidally locked to each other. So as they orbit, they only ever show the same face to the other. They don't,
They're just looking at each other.
They're just looking at each other in admiration. And Orcus and Vanth do the same thing. Interestingly, Orcus and Pluto have the same distance from the sun, the same amount of time that it takes them to go around the sun, but Orcus is 180 degrees out of phase. So it's kind of like the anti-Pluto.
Oh, okay. So like it's on the other side of the sun?
Yeah.
Awesome. They have similar, oh, you've got a thing for this. Do they have similar orbits?
I do have a thing for this, yes.
You guys need to see this. It's so cool.
It's not quite as clean as what I just described, but it's visually very interesting. Yeah.
Super
Science
neat.
discussion. We're having fun.
Yeah. I get to talk about space. That makes me very happy.
Space is
and I get to hold a dog, which is even better.
It's a pretty good dog, you know.
High quality.
It's a. You're a good boy, aren't you? A good boy. Aren't you a good boy? I'm making you uncomfortable now for some reason because too much attention. Yeah. You just want to scratch us. I guess I could show the other thing.
That'd be really cool.
Since I've kind of spilled the beans already.
People want to know how you made these as well, if you want to share that. It was a big process. There we go. I'll put what you guys actually are here for on the stream. There we are. Let's see if I can reduce the brightness of these lights.
Yeah, how's that working? You know what? We could, if we didn't care about being on camera, we could turn these lights down
We could.
and maybe see the screen a little better.
Is there a switch?
Yes, lower right. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Oh, cables in the dark.
Yeah. Boy, that looks a lot better.
Yes, now let me change some things so it's not so bright.
Why did it stop moving? Is it moving?
There we go.
Oh, it is moving. Speed that up so it looks more interesting. All right, so this is another Java program that I wrote. And whereas the previous one was all about showing you the sizes of things, but was not to scale in terms of distance, this one is the reverse of that. Everything is to scale in terms of the distance between them, but the sizes are obviously not correct. Like right now, Jupiter and the Sun are showing about the same size, and as we saw earlier, they're not about the same size. But you can see the little circles show the orbits of the planets, and they're mostly pretty circular, with the exception, if we zoom way in here.
Where did the footage go?
What happened?
The thing. Did I unplug something?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Let me try something.
We're dead in the water.
It's not working. There it. Oh, where'd it go? It fit for a second.
Do you want the lights to figure it out again?
There we go. What? Why is it doing that? No. Technical issues. What happened? It works for a second and then it's like, nah. Is it working now? Please don't go away. What? Bro. Oh. Is that... Will it go away again? Okay, apparently if I turn off the auto exposure, it doesn't like it.
Okay.
It's working now. Better not go away.
Seems like it's back.
It is back. It's a little smudged. You can't really tell the labels of things, but...
Okay, well, let's not worry about it too much. I'll turn the labels off. Hopefully I don't kill myself walking around in the dark studio.
Yeah.
So on the assumption that people can hear me, notice how Mercury's orbit is not that circular. It's actually close to the sun, farther from the sun. Close to the sun, farther from the sun. Mercury's orbit is the most eccentric of any of the planets. I don't have any obvious explanation as to why. It's always been like that. Are we still on the air?
Yes, the stream's all fine. It's the camera was messing up.
Okay. Oh, I bet I just made it worse.
Okay. I've got it back. We're good. I hope. Fantastic.
Right. Well, let me see if I can get Pluto and Orcus
Let
up on the
me
screen.
pull us back a little bit. Pluto and Orcus. Porcus.
Yeah.
There we are. Whoa. Just the inner solar system it's fascinating to
Solar
me.
system.
So we need,
There's Pluto.
the red line is Pluto's orbit, which as you can tell is not the right way.
And there's Orcus.
Orcus. Very cool.
Just gotta speed this way up to see them moving, because they're. You look at,
There
so
we
you
go.
can see how the years are going by on the inner planets for this to happen.
Yeah.
This is so every one of those little dots is an asteroid, and that's actually a tiny subset of the total asteroids. If I turn all the asteroids on, it just becomes a donut in
Yes.
the middle. So
The camera's not picking up the inner solar system fantastically. This will be much better when it's on a video and it's all much better staged and you're not relying on a camera looking at a screen.
you know, if I were more organized, we could have OBS cut to a straight up feed rather than
Yes.
pointing a camera at
That's a screen.
But anyway, you can see how the orbits of Pluto and Orcus kind of look like, you know, a Venn diagram with two things that.
And then can we zoom into the central planets as well?
Yes, I also want to show.
Oh, sorry.
Why is that happening?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So another thing weird about their orbits is look at that, right? Whereas most of the planets and most of the asteroids are orbiting in this one plane, both Pluto and Orcus are a good deal, and in fact a very similar amount off of the ecliptic.
This is so cool to look at, especially on a screen this big. This is incredible.
So back to the inner solar system.
Oh, that's going fast.
Yeah, let's slow that down a little bit.
There we go. And so, big boy up there, we probably can't see me very well. The one up there, that's Jupiter, and then you've got the inner ones, which are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. And then in between, you have every other, well, all the asteroids and, I don't think comet's the right word for it.
I'm not displaying any comments right now, but I can.
Let me move the mouse.
Also, you messed up the setup for my joke.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My plan was gonna point at the mouse and say, scientists are still trying to understand what this pointer-shaped thing is.
Oh no!
But aesthetics win the day.
Ah, oops. But you can see why Jupiter is my favorite. Because
Yes.
it protects us. Very cool. Thank you, Jupiter. I love you. Mwah.
And you can see there's a whole fleet of asteroids in Jupiter's orbit 60 degrees ahead, and another whole fleet 60 degrees behind. These are more or less the only asteroids that are anything other than 50% of orbits of the orbital period of Jupiter. I really expressed that badly.
Well, that's the benefits of doing videos, that you can
Yes.
have as many takes as you need.
Scientists are still trying to understand this pointer-shaped object that appears in the... Yeah, it wasn't that good a joke in the first place. Anything else we want to see? We certainly can talk. I want to tell them about what we did last night, because I think there's some funny stuff in there. Other cool things to see. Oh, you know what? Let's just have a quick look at Sedna.
Setting it up.
Oh, I clicked on that guy and I didn't mean to.
Pluto, Orcus, and Wood. Oh, they've all got names, because of course they
No,
do.
what happened was I accidentally clicked on an asteroid, and that shows its orbit. And
So this is all from data that you found online, and then you built this whole visualizer, and now we are looking at it. That's so cool. I don't know how I'd do this. I don't think I could.
Sedna. That is the orbit of Sedna. So, again, reminder that blue body at 12 o'clock is Neptune. The cloud of asteroids around it are the Kuiper Belt, which is more or less, the end of the heavily populated zone. Sedna does not get anywhere near there.
It's got to be
Look at-
very, very, very cold there.
Look at that son of a gun. It's, technically part of the solar system, but it doesn't get anywhere near the sun. But it's, it's in orbit around the sun. Just a very, very distant orbit.
You could zoom out that much? Yeah. As far as you need to, I suppose. The sun can move. Not the sun can move, the sun is moving. Everything in space is moving. It's just relative to what?
Yes. So the sun is orbiting the center of the Milky Way, I think.
Yes.
Anyway, enough of that stuff. Should we go back to Minecraft?
It's much brighter. Ah! There we go.
So I just instinctively want to move the mouse off the screen.
Yes.
But that's not what you want to do.
We can get these lights back on. Fantastic. All right, let me change the camera settings.
So I'm going to look at the chat a little bit. Minecraft kind of scuffed, yes. Minecraft with outer space. Saturn is gorgeous, for sure.
This.
I'm doing fine, thank you. Everybody's always checking in with me, which is awfully sweet. Relatively Small is here, yay! And I mentioned, and of course Susan. Definitely want to mention Susan, although noting Susan's presence, Susan is always present. So and Baby Gas was here earlier. So various cool people. Have you tried Kerbal Space Program? I have not, and I'm kind of itching to.
I think it's the sort of thing you would enjoy, especially with your orbits.
Somebody mentioning K2-18b.
I don't know what that is.
Susan the Goat. I think that's an exoplanet.
Oh, I've got a fun fact about, so there's we have discovered a whole bunch of Earth-like, oh, hello.
I think he wants you now.
Hello, my friend.
That's what his body language is indicating.
We've discovered a whole bunch of super Earths out there that are very similar to our Earth, but they are significantly bigger. A lot of the planets that we can detect are huge. As a result, we have found a few of these planets with similar chemical makeups to ours. I think he wants to come to you.
Oh, all right.
There we are.
He's very fickle that way.
And something I think is quite interesting is the fact that the gravity of some of these super Earths might be so high that the level of fuel and energy you need to get into orbit from these super Earths might just be unreachable. So theoretically, if there was life there, they might be trapped on their planets because gravity is insurmountable. We are just small enough that the math kind of makes sense, and we can escape this rock.
Yeah, we're lucky.
Yeah, very lucky in a lot of ways. It's important to stay hydrated, by the way.
Yes. Did you know that as bodies in the solar system go, as far as how much water they have?
Yeah.
We talked about this. Earth is not in the top 5. Do you want to talk about
Top
Europa?
5? Oh, I love Europa.
Talk to us about Europa. Speaking of water.
So Europa is a moon of Jupiter, and I went to go see the launch of a mission called Europa Clipper. And Europa Clipper is this mission which is going all the way to Jupiter, which, if you saw in the simulation earlier, very far away. And it's going to take about 7 years to get there, and it launched 2 years ago, so 5 years to go. And Europa is this big ice ball, but underneath the layer of ice, there is a layer of liquid water that is heated by the way that Jupiter keeps crushing and squeezing Europa. So this is a planet far out in our solar system, orbiting Jupiter, that is warm enough to have liquid water. So there is a chance that it could support life. We don't know for sure yet, hence why they have sent the Europa Clipper mission all the way there. So it's a very cold planet. It is very cold. And it's quite large as well. There is another icy moon called, I think it's Enceladus, and that has big spires of water coming out like that spray.
I always want to call that enchiladas.
Yes.
I think you shouldn't name a moon something that's that close to the word enchiladas, but it's done, so.
Who knows? Someone's got to give it a taste one day.
Yes.
But yes, Europa is one of my favorite moons out there for that reason. There's also a game called Barotrauma, which is all about having a submarine below the surface of the European ice layer. You sail around in the undersurface ocean, fighting creatures and other submarines and stuff. It's a cool game. Taste the Europa water. Be scrumptious.
Someone says, I don't encourage tasting space rocks. I think that's good advice.
But how would I know if I've not tried it before?
Yeah.
I could also show off my little telescope.
Oh yeah, let's do the telescope thing, and then we can talk about what we did last night.
Yes,
So
that's
I'll launch into that. So Eret got to my house yesterday. I don't know, 6 or 7, something like that. What? Why is that funny?
Don't worry.
My kid's laughing at me. That's normal. Anyway, Eret came over to visit last night, and after the sun went down, I got my telescope out. he got his telescope out. We went out in the backyard, wanted to look at some things. I was particularly interested in Venus. I have yet to get a good view of Venus. I've seen it a couple of times. Of course, you can see it in the sky. It's so prominent. And I've seen it in the telescope a couple of times, but I've had a lot of trouble getting a good view at it. Anyway, so I was like, I haven't tried in a month or so, so why don't we try again? So I went outside, and then I spent maybe an hour and a half installing drivers.
So this is my little fella.
Yeah.
And I can bring this wherever in my bag, and it's small enough that I can take it practically anywhere, and then it opens up. We're inside right now, so it's not going to be able to see much of anything. And then it points automatically at the stars and stuff. You just do it all in the app, and it's pretty fantastic. And it's raining again in Minecraft, how dare it? But Phil actually told me to get this some years ago, and then I did. So thanks, Phil, very cool. Let me go turn the rain off. Oh, it's thundering, oh no.
I will say also that Phil encouraged me to get this one as well, and I was not smart enough to listen. So yeah, we spent an hour and a half installing drivers and things like that, and by that time, Venus was low enough in the sky that I couldn't really get a good view of it. But you can try again whenever.
It works fantastically, very good.
I was really impressed with the phone software because it does, if I understand correctly, it does the stacking, and then the progressively improving image shows up on your phone. You can just watch it.
Yes.
I think that's pretty great.
And so I've connected the phone app to my computer, so wherever I take this and wherever I take my remote setup, I can live stream and live stream like in dark sky locations, so places where there's no cell service, to do a regular IRL live stream, and then be able to show you guys awesome stuff through the internet, which I think is really cool.
Right on. The setup that I ended up getting is great for looking at planets.
Yes.
Of course, there aren't that many planets. And
the really impressive big ones are sometimes on the other side of the Earth, so you can't see them.
You can't. There's no looking at Jupiter now because it rises and sets both during the day. But it's
shutting down.
The two of us looked at prospects for looking at Saturn, which of course is possibly the most photogenic planet.
Very.
And it looked like there was a really good opportunity at 4 a.m. to look at Saturn.
Not doing that.
And we
debated it.
we talked about, I think the fact that we considered it
Yes.
reflects well on us, even though we decided not to.
Yeah. I mean, Saturn's really pretty. It's one of those things you look at through a telescope and you see the rings and you can finally kind of go like, oh, whoa, that's right there. And you can kind of see this little orangey-ish dot in the sky. And you have the telescope and then you zoom in and it's suddenly real. It's suddenly in front of you. It's right there.
Yeah.
You can't see that with the naked eye, and that's really special. And Jupiter's very similar, and it's got moons around it. And I go, that one's Europa. That's fascinating. I love space. I want to show everyone space. I think everyone likes space if they get the chance to see it. So I'm glad we are aligned in that sense.
Yeah. We should stream together or something sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully with a bit more preparation next time. I'm only in town for a short period, so, and I got here literally yesterday, so next time.
I said that and everyone started laughing.
Yeah.
I still don't know what that was.
Was that the 6 or 7 bit?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
that's what it was.
I'm afraid so.
How did I miss that? Oh, now my kid's grinning at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6, 7, something like that.
Yeah.
That's when they got here, you know.
There you go. I'm sorry, guys.
Honestly, the only thing that I'm feeling right now is disappointment that I didn't realize it at the time.
For the best. I think there's a level of being chronically online, which is not healthy. So if you are free of not hearing those numbers and then immediately in your head go like, then good, fantastic. I feel happy for you.
For somebody my age,
Yeah.
Gen Z slang is a guaranteed laugh, because if as a 63-year-old, if you spit out a bunch of Gen Z slang and you're using it accurately, that is hilarious. Because look at the old guy talking like a young guy. That's just intrinsically funny.
Yes.
If you blow it, or if you do something totally out of date, or whatever, that's also intrinsically hilarious, right?
Yes.
It's like, look at the old guy falling on his face trying to talk Gen Z.
Yes.
You can't lose.
Yeah, but that was, God, seeing politicians try and do that was, I used to annoy my sister. My sister's 5 years younger than me, and I used to annoy my sister with that.
Yeah.
It holds up. Awesome.
I'm just, it's like nobody says Riz anymore. Now it's all aura farming.
Yes.
And how long is that going to last? I don't know. Probably not super long. So you got to stay on top of it.
Yeah, you need to be on the internet a little too much in order to know what's going on.
You got to stay on top of it. We haven't mentioned Technoblade at all, but I will just say one piece of advice that he gave me, and I wish I could remember, because he said he got this piece of advice from someone else, and I wish I could remember who it was who gave him this piece of advice. But the advice is, the most important thing in life is to be a meme lord. So
if you can speak the language of the internet, people will be like,
"Yep,
you said the thing."
So I've taken that to heart. I post. I do self-insert memes. I put myself, like the Bernie Sanders asking for your financial support one. I got a version of myself in that, and a bunch of other things.
Yes.
And
you do great. I see your posts across the internet.
Yeah.
Very good.
So yeah. All right. Well, I missed one opportunity today, but I'll stay on top.
Next time.
Somebody has a shirt with Skeletor on it that says aura farming. That's pretty good. See, somebody was saying Technodad saying aura farming is just.
It's good.
It's just funny.
It's fantastic.
Old guy talking like a young guy.
Absolutely. There's a word for it or something, but like, and it's entirely escaped my mind, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, there's a certain, discordant aspect to it, right? It's a kind of a weird juxtaposition. He's not supposed to talk like that.
All comedy is stuff that you're not expecting that is ultimately harmless. So,
yes,
not expecting it, it works. Fantastic.
I think Mel Brooks said, tragedy is when I stub my toe, and comedy is when you fall down a manhole and die.
That's effective. That's a good line.
Am I interested in cosmology? For the short term, I'm focusing, and actually I explained this at the beginning, but somebody was asking me about it again. I'm planning on a 5-part series just about the solar system, just about the planets, the moons, all the many crazy asteroids and some comets and so forth, but all stuff that is much closer than Alpha Centauri.
Yes.
So I'm kind of narrowing my focus. The thing is, with me, if I don't narrow my focus, then it just expands forever, and it never turns back around and ends up with something that you can actually make a video out of.
Yeah.
So I am scrupulously limiting myself to the solar system, and I recently had to make the difficult decision to limit myself to just like the last 4 billion years. Like
Just the last 4 billion
I wanted
years.
to talk about
just a
stuff
small period of time.
before that, because there's all this amazing stuff about like okay, so the universe, the entire universe,
Yes.
roughly speaking, is 3/4 hydrogen, 1/4 helium. Everything is like that. That's true not just in this galaxy, every other galaxy, not just our star, every other star. 3/4 hydrogen, 1/4 helium. You know what Jupiter's made out of? It's roughly 3/4 hydrogen, 1/4 helium. Saturn, same thing. But then there's these little pockets where that's not true. These tiny, tiny little pockets, like for example, Earth, which is not 3/4 hydrogen. There isn't that much hydrogen here. It shows up in the water.
Yes.
And some other things, but we don't have a lot of free helium or hydrogen.
No.
So how did that happen? Where did that stuff come from? Because the Big Bang didn't create carbon. It didn't create rocky planets and so forth. All of the stuff, like if you look around the room, whatever room you're in, you look around, you're not looking at hydrogen and helium. You're looking at heavier elements. Yeah, even your own body. Where did that stuff come from? Where did those elements come from? All of those heavier elements were born inside the nucleus of a star. They were born inside a star, either from fusion or from supernovas or from neutron stars colliding or whatever. All the stuff that makes up your body, that makes up the Earth, that makes up Mercury, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that was all made before the sun was born. That stuff all comes from other stars in this neighborhood that are gone now, that exploded, that ran out,
crashed into each other, exploded, sent the stuff everywhere, and have recoalesced into our solar system.
Yeah.
Our sun and Jupiter and all the rocks and now all the plants and life and everything that has come since. And so far, this is the only place where we've worked out that that's even happened. And the chances are so infinitesimally small to be just as far enough away from the sun not to get totally roasted, but not so far out that we all freeze, to be the right size that we actually can move around, to have all the right chemicals to be able to, and all the right things that allow the weather to happen and it not be like sulfuric acid rain, and then for life to evolve and get to a point where we are able to learn and understand about where we are and go, whoa, how are we so lucky that we get to see and experience this? I want to see it all. And at least that's how I feel. And I want to bring that sort of sense of wonder to as many people as possible, because space is so cool. We're all part of space. And we're all made up of star stuff, is the phrase. Which I think is super cool.
This is the only planet that has burritos.
He's right, you know. Mars, they don't have that. Pluto, not even a planet.
Not even. We haven't hardly ragged on Pluto at all. I think we were talking about ragging on Pluto some more, but
yes,
we kind of fell down on that.
Pluto would be cool to explore. It's small. You'd bounce around on it.
The thing is, the thing that kind of gets me like crazy is if you were standing on Pluto, and you look back at the sun, it's gonna look like a star, like a star in the night sky looks, but it's gonna be so bright. I mean, even that far away, it's still gonna be so bright that it's gonna be casting shadows. I think the number was something like it would be as bright as a full moon.
Yeah.
It would be putting out as much light as a full moon, but from a point.
That's kind of crazy to think about. Yeah. I don't know, it feels kind of like a laser point, but not so much. It's just far away.
Yeah.
There's one photo I really love where it's it's one of the spacecraft around Saturn, and you can see a little tiny blue dot, and that's the Earth seen from Saturn, and it's not even barely visible. Just a second. I don't know why it starts like lagging every now and then. Oh, fantastic.
I saw Anna was here, and I wanted to shout out to Anna as well. Hi, Anna. Hi.
Awesome.
What would the sun look like on Pluto? Didn't I just say that?
You did.
Is that a delay? It would look like a star, but it would be much brighter than any star. It would be about as bright as the full moon, just a little point.
Very bright dot in the sky.
But still vastly outshining any of the other stars. Another suggestion to look into K218b. I think I have read about that a little bit. Anyway.
Yeah.
What else? There was something else I was going to talk about. We were talking about Pluto. Io, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto.
Yes.
Those are the four Galilean moons.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's an interesting perspective on the Galilean moons that I kind of just connected the dots on recently. So at the time of Copernicus, as I'm sure you learned in school, there was this feeling that the Earth was the center of everything, and that the sun and all of the planets went around the Earth. And the stars, admittedly, you watch the stars at night, and they're all they go this way. They're all rotating this way, except for relatively small. Hers are going this way.
Yeah.
The stars all look like they're rotating around the Earth. The sun looks like it's rotating around the Earth. The moon looks like it's rotating around the Earth, and it actually is, but it doesn't look any different as far as that goes. Ptolemy came up with this model. So there was a guy, 300 BC, named Aristarchus.
Yes.
And he was an astronomer. He looked at everything, and he said, okay, I think I've got it figured out. I think, first of all, the sun is way further away than the moon is.
Correct.
They look to be about the same size, but the sun is actually much further away and much bigger. In fact, the sun is just the biggest thing around anywhere. And the Earth goes around the sun. The sun doesn't go around the Earth. The Earth goes around the sun.
Yes.
And he figured out all these other things, and everybody was just like, no. Ptolemy came up with his model, which is that the Earth is the center and everything else goes around that. And for 1,800 years, everybody was just like, yeah, okay, that's probably what it is. Until Copernicus.
Yeah.
Copernicus starts publishing his observations and so forth and so on. Got a lot of pushback for it. Here's the thing. It wasn't until the invention of the telescope and Galileo looking in the telescope and seeing what I got to see 6 months ago for the first time, seeing Jupiter and these little dots going around it. The Galilean moons were the first thing any human being saw that obviously was not rotating around the Earth, was not orbiting around the Earth. There's there is no question. You look in the telescope, you see those.
Those are obviously
those
orbiting
moons.
Jupiter.
They're not orbiting the Earth at all.
Yeah.
And that broke the monopoly on the apparent view.
I didn't know that that was specifically the thing. I knew it was the Galilean moons, but I didn't know that it was seeing the moons go around. I thought he was just like, I mean, I see how that would break the model, and I knew that Galileo would then get punished for like trying to suggest that it was the Earth wasn't the center of the things and the sun actually is. That's really cool. I didn't know that.
Isn't that wild?
I learned something new today.
I think that's just a piece of the overall volume of evidence that swayed things away from the Ptolemaic model.
Yeah.
But the character of that one piece of evidence I find very interesting. And like Io rotates or orbits around, I got to get better about saying the right one, rotate versus orbit. Io orbits around Jupiter, I forget the exact number, but it's like once a day.
Whoa.
It's
I know a day on Jupiter is like 19 hours or something. Like the whole planet's
just under 12. Yeah.
Oh, that's even faster.
Yeah.
That's why the storm is so big, is because the whole massive planet spins ridiculously fast.
But
crazy.
those inner moons just orbit in a very short period of time.
Yeah. Wow, they're zipping around. That's crazy. I understand why, like on Europa, there is enough like tidal pressure pushing and squeezing the planet to heat up the ocean. Then, the tidal pressures are insane.
And it's that much worse for Io.
Yeah.
Right. Io is like Jupiter's squeezy toy.
Yes. That's how rings form as well, is eventually a planet gets too close, a moon gets too close to a planet, and then it just starts tearing apart and fractures into a whole disk. That's why Saturn's disk came about, I believe, or was there. But the disk is only like a few meters thick, but is massive, so massive and wide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Space is awesome. There's so many different things. I need to look up more specific facts.
We were talking last night about how Mars's moon Phobos is perhaps destined to become a ring.
True.
It is very, very close to Mars. It is less than one. So like our moon is 30 Earth diameters away from us. Phobos is less than one Mars diameter away from Mars. It's just like right on top of the thing, and it's moving inward.
Yes. So it's called reaching the Roche limit.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be in roughly 20 to 50 million years. So mark your calendars for a gap of 30 million years.
If you're on Reddit, you say,
remind me.
50 million years.
And then you might get to see Phobos disintegrating around the orbit of Mars. And hopefully, if there is habitation there by that point, we'll see. It doesn't ruin things.
I think the Japanese have a mission to Mars's moons coming up.
That'd be to the Mars's moons. Okay.
I think that's right. I think I'm remembering that correctly. China, there is an asteroid that falls into kind of an interesting category. It's called a quasi-moon.
Yeah.
It's a quasi-moon of the Earth. If you observe it from Earth, it seems to be very slowly kind of moving around us. But if you look at it from a wider perspective, it's just that both of us are just orbiting the sun at about the same time. And
cool.
It just ends up looking.
That's
like,
around Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's orbiting the sun with the same period that the Earth has and at the same distance. But it's the normal variation of a regular orbit is causing it to kind of like, it'll be going a little slower for a bit, and then it'll be going a little faster, and then so it's sort of
It looks like it is.
quasi-orbiting us. So China sent, I don't know the name of the appropriate agency, so I will just say China, as if China is a monolith, which, it probably is. The space agency in China has sent a space probe to Kamo Olave. I pulled that out.
What is that?
That's the quasi-moon I was just talking about.
Oh, okay.
Because we're doing Hawaiian names.
Fantastic.
For a lot of things. So
would that be because a lot of them are discovered from the telescope in Hawaii?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. Certainly.
We'll find out.
Yeah, that's a good thing to look up. Anyway, Kamo Olave. So their probe just arrived there like 2 weeks ago or something. And we have our first pictures from it now. It's significantly smaller than we thought it was. Something like 18 meters. It's like, I think we have freight trains that are bigger than that. But they got pictures of it now, and they're going to spend a year observing it and doing instrument readings and so forth. And then they're going to land on it, try to get some samples, and then come back to Earth, bringing back a piece of asteroid.
That's cool.
Woo!
That's so cool. Wouldn't be the first time we've done that, but there's lots of different types of rocks out there as well.
Yes.
I forget the name of the mission that did that more recently, but they had like a probe and it just bumped into it and then came back and it came back to Earth.
Oh,
then,
yeah.
I forget the name of it.
What was that?
But there's a lot of Hawaiian names because Hawaii's home to some of the world's most powerful observatories because it's right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Very little light pollution. What is it called? OSIRIS-REx, the first US mission to collect a sample from an asteroid, returned in 2023.
Very cool.
Went to the asteroid Bennu. Very cool.
So many questions. Somebody is asking about TRAPPIST-1e and Proxima Centauri b. I don't really know much of anything about those.
I don't know either. I know Proxima Centauri is, of course, the closest sun to our sun, the closest star to our star. I assume Proxima Centauri b is a planet orbiting that, but I've got to do some research to do. Lots of cool stuff out there. Technodad's definitely much more in the solar system place of knowing things, because while space is infinitely huge, I think understanding our local neighborhood is really, really important. In a similar way, like we haven't even learned a huge amount about our oceans, and then you could go even smaller to like the size of atoms and stuff if you really wanted to get even deeper down to the smaller is more complex. But there is almost infinite complexity to anything, so if you really wanted to, you could look into whatever.
Yeah, so follow your interests, follow your passions. Who was I talking to the other day? I was talking to somebody and I said, there's your education, right? And then also there's learning. And education is good, don't get me wrong. The last time I took a class, though, was 1984. I have learned a huge amount of stuff since then, just because things interest me. This interests me for a while, then this interests me. There's a lot to be said for self-study. You can do a lot with self-study. This is not in any way to say drop out of school. Don't put words in my mouth. Stay in school, kids. It makes you better at PvP. There's tremendous value to formal education, and there is tremendous value in learning stuff yourself.
Listen to the man. I wish I'd finished, but I was too busy playing Minecraft, so... I do wish I'd finished doing astronomy, though, because then I would be able to be more conclusive. So now I'm just meeting NASA people, and the NASA people can tell me all the stuff they know and all the qualifications they have, which is really cool. But having it all in here is extra helpful.
Somebody in chat was like, wait, didn't Technoblade drop out of school? And yeah, he did, but he wasn't planning on doing it. It was very specifically to jump aboard a wave of renewed interest in Minecraft. And he made the point that that was something that was going to happen right then. And if he went all the way through school and came back to it, it wasn't.
Yeah.
So yes, but it doesn't count.
Yeah, I tried to stick with it too, but I was doing it for quite a while I was also trying to juggle streaming at the same time, but that's like trying to do 2 full-time jobs at the same time, and streaming requires you to be engaged with things all the time, so there is a significant challenge with that. Eric, when you say you're focused on the grander stuff in the universe, what do you mean? I like knowing more about, I want to know a bit about everything. Our solar system is fascinating, but when you look out there and see all the different types of galaxies and all the different types of formations and binary systems, trinary systems, black holes, nebula, all the different things that are out there, pulsars, the gamma ray bursts, like the magnetars, so many different things that have come into existence and help us understand the universe on a deeper level, and further give me appreciation for like, wow, the space is big, very empty, but also at times very, very dangerous, and we're very lucky to be here. And then we get to experience it all. And I want to share that experience with all of you guys if I can.
Yeah, yeah. You know, one thing outside of the solar system that I've wanted to image for a long time is Andromeda.
Yes.
The fact that it's so big is just mind-blowing. And I would love to... So I like taking pictures. I take pictures of stuff. Subscribe to my Instagram. Just to imagine some old guy saying, subscribe to my Insta. I think that's pretty hilarious right there. Yeah, subscribe to my Instagram. I post my pictures. I had an omelet the other day and I took a picture of it. It's pretty good. I don't know where that came from. Don't hate me. I would love to get a great picture of the Andromeda Galaxy.
Yeah.
And I've tried a few different ways, but I've more or less reached the conclusion that it cannot be done where I live. I would need to drive way out of town. Because I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's the 4th largest metro area in the United States. And it's bright outside. Yeah. It's really bright outside.
That's part of why I want to do the, I want to take the streams out to these remote areas. You can only do that with satellite internet because there's no cell service. But you go out to the desert or like Death Valley or Joshua Tree or some other national park where it's so much nothing in so many directions. You can see the band and the Milky Way above you.
Yeah.
Like you could see, oh wow, I'm actually in the galaxy rather than just looking up and seeing a few scattered dots, maybe the Big Dipper, maybe Venus. Followed you on Insta. It worked. Fantastic. But yes, that's the plan, is to go out to the darkest areas and be able to take people to a location where they can just look up and go, whoa, that's cool. Because there's a lot of light pollution in cities, which makes it harder to see that stuff. Fantastic.
Someone in chat was just saying that the place to go if you're heading north is towards Point Reyes, and that is actually kind of what I was thinking in terms of
Cool.
West Marin County. Not all of it by any means, but there are places in West Marin County
Yeah.
where it's basically just cows and no lights, very, very
Yeah.
dark.
I love cows, but if you let them come anywhere near you, you'll suddenly just be surrounded by cows.
Yeah, they're kind of cringe, I think.
Cringe?
Yeah.
They want to know what you're doing.
I've actually been going out to I've been to Point Reyes, I don't know, 100 times, a lot. And it's great to, go out there and you look up in the sky and it's like, there's the Milky Way. It's just plain as day. Well, plain as night. You can't see it in the day. But you go out at night and it's like, there's no question of where is the Milky Way, because it's just this big
Yeah. You
thing.
can't miss it.
You can't miss it. And there's, I don't know how many stars are visible,
Yeah.
but an insane number of stars are visible. And it's like, how many stars could we see with the naked eye from my
Probably
backyard
like
last night?
20, 30, not a huge number.
Yeah.
I can make out the Big Dipper, that was kind of it.
It was bad. I've had nights where I've gone outside and it's like, I can't, is that the Big Dipper? I think
Yeah.
I see like 3 or 4 of the stars of the Big Dipper.
Yeah, in the
It's
UK we
just-
call it the plough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so coming over here and it called the Big Dipper is like, that's so American. I kind of like it though, because it does look like a big like dipping spoon.
Yes. That's the first constellation I learned.
Yeah,
I know like 4 now.
there's the Big Dipper and Orion.
Orion is number 2.
Those are the 2 I can always recognize because they got some very, very bright stars. Yeah, I need to learn constellations a bit better.
Well, you said you were talking about studying astrology, right?
Astronomy. All right. Yes.
What else we got? I sort of feel like we're winding down.
We are absolutely winding down.
Running out of energy. I'm starting to feel like this.
Yes, I don't have anything else on that I think we specifically should talk about. How about you?
Somebody mentioned Gravity Falls. I don't know that we mentioned Gravity Falls, but Relatively Small asks, wait, the Big Dipper has another name? Yeah,
Yes.
So it's not named after Dipper Pines. That's a different thing. No, wait, that's not true. Dipper Pines is named after the Big Dipper.
I don't know what that is.
That's an obscure bit of Gravity Falls lore.
Cool.
If you haven't watched Gravity Falls, you should watch Gravity Falls.
I should. I've only seen like various episodes.
There's a bit of Lord of the Rings lore, because if you know that poem, tall ships and tall kings, 3 times 3. What brought they from sundered lands across the shining sea? 7 stars and 7 stones and 1 white tree. The 7 stars are the Big Dipper. The
Oh.
Big Dipper is in Middle Earth.
Because there's also a thing with the Big Dipper, like part of it points to the North Star
Points
as well.
to the North Star, yeah.
So people can use that for navigation because that's one of those points that is always at least vaguely in the north if you're in the northern hemisphere.
I spent months in the lead up to this video series I'm
Yeah.
planning on space. I spent months thinking about quadrants, sextants rather.
Yes. The star
Celestial
navigation. Yeah.
and the North Star, and like reading about different variations on things that instruments people had done before the sextant came out, and I was like trying to figure out. I thought, you know what would be incredibly cool. You know what would have been incredibly cool, is to get like an actual 18th century sextant
Oh, that's
that had
cool.
been used on a ship somewhere.
Yeah.
And have that, and then go out and take some reading of your latitude. And I spent weeks and weeks on that, and at some point I was just like, what the heck am I doing? I'm just,
Like with a
this is
sextant,
never
like
going anywhere. No, just trying to figure out how to get
okay, a working
a
sextant.
working. I mean, you can buy a cheapo working sextant that was made last Tuesday, out of plastic or whatever. But even those are kind of pricey. And then ultimately, so what? There's the North Star over there.
I see it. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, learning more about how people learned how to navigate the oceans using the stars, like the Maori and like the Polynesian people, is fascinating. Yes, there's a lot of different cultures that did that very, very well. Yes, we're reading the chat.
Yep. I feel like the most common question or comment is something about floof. And I feel like the second most common is Eret has great hair. So I will.
I've got a lot of it, so yes.
Just to blow everybody's minds, I used to have that hairstyle.
You have to provide a picture.
Yeah.
Not right now.
I used to, maybe not quite as long.
Yes.
But past my shoulder. Yours is about here. I don't think I ever got that far. But like this long, big, yeah. And yours is a little curlier than mine.
I've definitely got curls, yes.
Mine was a little more like wavy. So I still had a thing, but it was lower frequency than your.
Yeah, I use a lot of leave-in conditioner, so that helps. People have been asking tips. Someone was mentioning the Roman Space Telescope. I am hoping I can go to the launch. I've applied to go see the launch of it next month. If I do, I'll bring you guys with me. And if I don't, then we will watch it some other way. But that is like a far better version of Hubble. Rather than taking 400 pictures, it just needs to take 2. It's so good. It's so good. Much to learn and see with that, because that's going to be incredible. Yeah, I need to see a picture of you with long hair.
I have almost no pictures of myself from before, like, 2005.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. I got a few pictures of me at like 6 months old.
Just imagining a full head of hair.
Bunch of people mentioning Technoblade, and I just always very gratifying hearing from people how much Technoblade meant to them. I don't know, did he have an interest in astronomy? I don't remember ever talking to him about astronomy. We watched Gravity Falls together, but I don't remember him.
Yeah.
He was a little bit monomaniacal, that kid.
Just becoming the best in the world at Minecraft.
Yep.
It's paid off. I remember playing some various, it's like MCC, I believe, the Minecraft Championships. And there was a game we were playing which was, it was like bingo, and we had to go around and we had to craft all these different items. And Techno realized, why make them yourself when you can just go around and kill everyone who's made these items? And so he went around everyone in MCC killing all the teams. He would just fly and be like, Techno's there! And then we'd die, lose the stuff, and his team would get so many points because suddenly he had all the items in your inventory. Terrifying to be on the receiving end of. He was too good.
Yep. Yes, indeed. I'm starting to get stupid.
Yes, we could
I read
absolutely.
an interesting question, and I think, okay, when Eret's done telling that story, I'm going to answer that question, and then by the time 15 seconds goes by, I can't remember the question anymore.
Oh, damn. We can absolutely wind down because this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad you've all been here. I still have not seen Project Hail Mary. I need to see that.
It's good.
Yes. So I have been told.
Good. Right?
Yes.
Apollo? Project Hail Mary.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That was great. There we
Good.
go.
Seal of approval.
He was the one who got me to go see it. So.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, I still need to see it. Oh my God, Eret, see it. I don't know how I haven't. I just haven't. It's like, I'm going to watch it in IMAX, and then I forgot. It's just one of those things. Treasure Planet was good. I like Treasure Planet.
I've heard good things. I still haven't seen that one.
It's an older one. Yeah, good movies. Alrighty.
Alrighty then. Shake my hand.
It's been a pleasure, sir. Alrighty.
This was fun.
This has been great.
And we started right on time, too.
So perfectly, right on the dot
Right on
at 2
time.
o'clock, not late at all. But no, this has been great. This has been really cool.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being here. I'm going to go turn off the stream now and go follow Technodad everywhere. That'd be really cool. Follow his Instagram for cool space pictures and other pictures of things that I'm sure are going to be coming.
I post at least monthly and sometimes more often.
Yes, and my cadence is somewhat similar, but I am getting better. I want to show you all space stuff, so if you've enjoyed this chat about space stuff, I will hopefully have more stuff about space stuff everywhere. My channel's just Eret everywhere, E-R-E-T, easy peasy. Yeah, awesome. Let me go turn the stream off now.
Thank you, everyone.
Farewell.
Bye.